Hello everyone, this is Dr. Suman, Associate Professor from the Department of Civil Engineering. Today I'll be dealing with the concept of kinematics and kinetics, which comes in the module 5 of the elements of civil engineering. So all the 4 modules we have dealt with the statics. That statics is basically the objects or the bodies which are at rest or in equilibrium. So in this module we'll be dealing with the objects or particles which are in motion. So basically we are dealing with the dynamics part of the engineering mechanics. So we have quite a bit to cover in this module. That is initially it will be the same as that what you have studied in the physics, the definitions of velocity, acceleration, then comes the Newton's laws of motion, then different types of motion involved, rectilinear, curvilinear and projectiles. So we have to solve the numericals based on these concepts. So basically we are dealing with the dynamics. In dynamics we have 2 streams, that is kinematics and kinetics. So what is kinematics? Kinematics is a branch of dynamics which deals with the study of the properties of motion. Here we are concerned about the motion of the body, that is the velocity, acceleration and momentum of the particle or the object. However, we are not considering what is causing this body to move. We are bothered about how the body is moving. Whereas in the branch of kinetics, we are bothered about the force which is causing the motion of the body. So this is the basic difference between the kinematics and kinetics. So first we will deal with the kinematics and then we will move on to the kinetics. So these are the technical terms which you have already come across in your plus 2. So what is motion? Any object which is changing its position with respect to a fixed point, then that is known that particular body is said to be in motion. With respect to one fixed point, if it is moving, then that is the motion of the body. And while its motion, the imaginary line which it has connected, okay, at different point, then that is nothing but the path. Next one is the displacement. Displacement is basically a vector quantity. It is a measure of the interval between the 2 locations or 2 points. If I consider this as the origin of one particular body, then if it is displaced or it is moved to the point P, which is at a distance x1 from the origin, this becomes the positive displacement of the particle which is placed here. If it is moving in this direction, then this x2 becomes the displacement of the particle measured in the negative direction from the origin. So if this is my origin, the displacement can happen in this direction as well as in this direction. Accordingly the sign changes. Next important term is our velocity. Property is velocity. Velocity is nothing but rate of change of displacement. Just now about what displacement we spoke. The rate of change of that displacement with respect to time is said to be the velocity. It's denoted by V and the unit is meter per second or kilometer per hour. Average velocity. So many such velocities, when it is added up and average, the number of velocities involved, average of that is nothing but the average velocity. So what is this instantaneous velocity? So whenever the term instant comes, you should understand it is the anything at that instant of time. So here it is instantaneous velocity. When I say it's a velocity of the moving particle at a certain instant of time. Okay, so instantaneous velocity V is equal to 0 when time tends to 0, delta x by delta t it is represented. Next, speed. Speed is a similar term as velocity. But you shouldn't confuse with speed and velocity. Speed is a scalar quantity, whereas velocity is a vector quantity. Speed, which specifies the rate at which the distance is changing, but does not specify in which direction. Okay, well, that's the difference between the speed and the velocity. What is acceleration? Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. Okay, velocity is the rate of change of displacement, whereas acceleration is the rate of change of velocity with respect to the time. Okay, so there is also something called as average acceleration. Now, this is a particle. If a particle moves from the origin, this is the origin if you consider, it moves from this point up to the point P, which is at a distance of x with a velocity v and time t. Okay, and from here again it moves to another point P1 where the velocity changes to v plus delta v, t plus delta t. Then the average acceleration of that particular particle is given by acceleration average is equal to change in velocity with respect to change in time. That is final velocity minus the initial velocity, and with respect to time gives the average acceleration of that particular particle. Okay. Then comes the Newton's laws of motion, which you have already come across in your plus 2 as well as in the first module. You need to know the law, that is Newton's first law states that every body continues to in the state of rest or uniform motion as long as it is under the influence of the balanced force system. Second law states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the impressed force and it takes place in the direction of force it is acting on. The third Newton's law states that every action has equivalent opposite reaction. Next, the types of motion. The three types of motion are rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion and the projectile motion. The graphical representation of these whatever terms we discussed just now, that is velocity, acceleration with respect to time, can be done, and these graphical representation can be used for solving arriving at the equations of motion, or sometimes the complex problems can be solved by drawing a graph. Now here we have plotted a displacement versus time graph. In displacement versus time graph, if it is when you draw the displacement versus time, if the graph obtained is parallel to the x-axis, what does it mean? It means that displacement is constant, that is the body is at rest. Okay, whereas if it is increasing uniformly with respect to time, that is a 45-degree line if you get, that means at every increase in the time there is a constant increase or a uniform increase in the displacement as well. So it is understood that this body is moving with the uniform velocity. For every increase in time you see the increase in the displacement. Okay, that is what the graph represents. Whereas here, there it is uniformly varying. Okay, variation of the displacement is uniform over here. Or if you find out the slope of this line, no, you will get a constant slope that indicates that ratio of displacement to time which is equal to velocity. Here velocity is varying uniformly. Whereas in the case of this graph, if you get a curve here, if you put a tangent to this curve and find out the slope goes on increasing in this curve. In this case, the displacement curve is going on increasing, and so will be the slope. The slope is also increasing over here. So it is seen that the velocity is increasing with respect to time, which is termed as acceleration. Velocity is increasing with respect to time. Okay. Next graph, if you see displacement versus time, if you are plotting a curve, you will get this curve is moving down. See, the first point will be at time t is equal to 0. Next point will be at time t is equal to 2 seconds you take. It is decreasing, the displacement is decreasing. So, even if you drop a tangent to this line, take the slope, you find that it is decreasing. So, this represents the decreasing velocity or the deceleration. Okay. Next graph is our velocity time graph. So, if the velocity is plotted with respect to time, if you see this is the line actually, this is a graph, this shaded area shows the between this time to this time what is the velocity variation it is showing. Okay. So, now when the velocity is uniform, here the velocity is not increasing, it is constant here, uniform here. The area under this Vt graph will produce the distance travelled by the body from the time t1 to t2. So, what is distance travelled actually? Distance travelled is nothing but velocity into time, or take it such that velocity is what? Velocity v is equal to distance travelled by the time t. Okay. So, this is what the graph's meaning. Next, in this graph the velocity is increasing. So, from this graph we can derive the equations of motion as well. So, when velocity is varying uniformly, what can it represent? So, this is the time t1. During time t1 the velocity is v1, time t2 velocity is v2. Okay. So, if I drop a perpendicular to this line, I can find out up to this point it is v1. So, the remaining is v2 minus v1, correct. So, this portion is v2 minus v1. Now, if I take the slope of this line, okay, think this is the slope of this line, it is v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1. So, change in the velocity to the change in the time, which gives me the acceleration. So, the slope of the line gives the acceleration. So, a is equal to v2 minus v1. Bring this t2 minus t1 into acceleration is equal to v2 minus v1. So, what is v2 minus v1? Or you can do it this way, a into t2 minus t1 is this side, take v1 this side, this is the v2 is what? v2 is the final velocity, v1 is the initial velocity, plus a into t2 minus t1. t2 minus t1 is nothing but the time, right? So, represent this as v final velocity, u initial velocity, a into t. So, this is our first equation of motion. This can also be written as v minus u divided by a. T is equal to v minus u divided by a. Okay. As seen from the earlier graph, the total distance travelled is given by the area under the curve. Hence, the area is given as. So, you can also solve the second equation of, derive the second equation of motion from this graph, that is the area under this graph. If I can find out, then I can arrive to the distance. Okay, that is the distance travelled can be found out, that is area of the shaded portion, this whole portion, area of the shaded portion is equal to area of this rectangle plus area of this triangle. That is, area of the rectangle is, this is velocity v1, right, and the time t, okay. So, this is v1, this is the time t, v1 into t for the rectangle, So, I can find out the distance travelled by the area under the shaded portion, okay. So, plus area of the rectangle half into base into height, that is half into, this is I have taken t2 minus t1 as t time into v2 minus v1. So this becomes v1 into t plus half into v2 minus v1 into t. Okay. So, but what is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but change in the velocity divided by time. So, a into t is equal to v2 minus v1. So, v2 minus v1 you can substitute it as at. At you substitute it over here. It becomes at square. So, half at square, and this is initial velocity. Initial velocity we have represented it as u. So, ut plus half at squared. So, you will get the equation ut plus half at squared. So, this is the distance travelled. Total distance travelled is given by the area of the shaded portion. So, I can write this as S. S is equal to ut plus half at squared from the graph. Similarly, taking the first equation, for in this equation S is equal to v1, that is the distance travelled what we found out. In the same, if I substitute the value of t, what is the value of t? Value of t is v minus u divided by a. V minus u divided by a if I substitute over here, then and split up, open up all the terms, then you get it as, and take the common denominator of this equation and bring it on the left hand side. You will get the equation as 2as is equal to v squared minus u squared. V squared minus u squared is equal to 2as. Okay, so that is the third equation of motion. This is how we solve from the graphical, from this graph. Okay, so similarly we can solve this from the equations of motion as well. So we derive the equations of motion using the graphical method. Now, using analytically, we also can solve the we can derive the equations of motion. That is, first equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. That is, consider a body of mass m having initial velocity u and after time t its final velocity being v due to the uniform acceleration a. If you consider, acceleration is what? Change in the velocity with respect to time taken. So, acceleration is equal to change in velocity, that is final velocity minus the initial velocity with respect to the time taken. A is equal to, final velocity is v minus u divided by t. So, t if you take to the left hand side, it is at, which is equal to v minus u. So, v is equal to u plus at is the first equation of motion. Coming to the second equation of motion, which is S is equal to ut plus half at square. Let the distance travelled by the body be s distance. Therefore, we know that any distance travelled is equal to average velocity into the time taken. Our velocity is nothing but distance divided by the time taken, correct? So, distance can be shown as our average velocity, that is u plus v divided by 2, half of initial velocity plus final velocity into the time taken t. Okay. But we also know that first equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. Okay. So, substituting this value of v in the equation 1 here, u plus at divided by 2 into t, we get, which is left hand side here, it is distance, not t here, it is s here. S is equal to 2u plus at divided by 2 into t. So, it is 2ut plus half at square, this divided by 2. So, 2 gets cancelled. So, it becomes ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. It is proved. Next one is the third equation of motion is v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as, or v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as. So, we know that first equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. V minus u is equal to at, therefore t is equal to v minus u divided by acceleration a. Distance is nothing but average velocity into time. Average velocity is nothing but v plus u divided by 2 into, instead of time being t here, we are substituting it as what we have found out from the first equation of motion, that is v minus u divided by a. Substitute where time quantity is there. So v minus u divided by a, open up the brackets, further simplifying, you will get v squared minus u squared divided by 2a. Take 2a to the left hand side, you get v squared minus u squared is equal to 2as. So third equation of motion is proved. This is a graph of acceleration versus time. It indicates that this is the constant, acceleration is constant with respect to time, similar to our velocity time graph. So now we will be starting with the rectilinear motion. As the name indicates, what is rectilinear motion? Rectilinear motion means when a particular body moves along the straight path, then it is called as the linear motion. Okay, so it is also called as rectilinear or linear motion, that is along a straight line. Okay, the equation of motion along the straight line, equations of motions which we derived just now are these three, which will be very useful for solving our problems. Okay, we'll move on to the first problem. The motion of a particle, okay, motion of a particle is given by the equation x is equal to t cube minus 3t squared minus 9t plus 12. From this equation, you are supposed to determine the time, distance travelled, acceleration of particle when velocity becomes 0. Okay, from the given x is equal to something, how are we going to arrive at the time? Time, at least it is here, t. Time when the velocity becomes equal to 0. But where is the velocity component in this equation? You have to arrive at it. How do you arrive? Velocity is what? Velocity is displacement by time. Change in the displacement with respect to time. That is dx by dt. Can you differentiate this equation with respect to dt? Yes. Dx by dt for this equation, if you find out, you will get 3t squared minus 6t minus 9. This is a constant which goes off 0 here. So it is 3t squared minus 6t minus 9 is the velocity equation. So from this, when velocity is equal to 0, I can find out what is the time, correct? When velocity equal to 0, I can find out what is the t. Now what type of equation is this? This is a quadratic equation. Okay, so you can find out t either using the calculator, or you can use the equation x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Find out what is this x here. What is x here? This is t. T is the time. So solving this quadratic equation, I got minus 1 and 3. Minus 1 is not acceptable, so take 3 seconds because it is time here. Okay, if it was distance, then it is acceptable, whereas it is time. Minus 3 plus 3 it is, minus 1 is discarded, so plus 3 seconds is the time what we were supposed to find out. So for this time 3, this is time 3 at what condition? At velocity equal to 0. So determine the time, distance travelled and the acceleration of the particle when velocity becomes equal to 0. So when you put velocity equal to 0, what time you found out is 3 seconds. So time is correct. distance traveled at that time t, what you found out for velocity equal to 0, substitute in this equation. Okay, so you will get the distance traveled. Then that is minus 15 meter I got when I substituted in the first equation. Further differentiate this equation. I have the dx by dt equation, right? Once more, if I differentiate this equation with respect to t, what will I get? I'll get d squared x by dt squared. What is d squared x by dt squared or dv by dt? Correct? This is either d squared x by dt squared or dv by dt. What is dv by dt? Change in the velocity with respect to time. What is change in the velocity with respect to time? It's nothing but acceleration. So this equation, once more if I differentiate, I'll get 6t minus 6. So it is 6t minus 6. So substituting the value of t over here, t is how much? 3 seconds. 6 into 3, 18. 18 minus 6 is 12 meter per second square. Okay, acceleration found out from this formula is 12 meter per second square. So whatever is asked we have done. Time, distance travelled, that is x, t and a, acceleration of the particle when the velocity becomes 0. So we have solved this problem. Next problem. The motion of a particle is defined by the relation x is equal to t cube minus 9t squared plus 24t minus 6. Okay. Determine the position, velocity and acceleration when time t is equal to 5 seconds. Here they have given the expression. Now you are familiar that if the motion of a particle is given by the x equation, and if they have asked position, it is at what time, directly substitute this t and get the answer. That is t is 5, substitute in this 5 cube minus 9 into 25 plus 24 into 5 minus 6, you will get this 14 meters. So that is nothing but the position of that particular particle. Next, velocity at 5 seconds. Derive this, differentiate this equation with respect to t once. So you will get 3t squared minus 9t, 9 into 2, 18t plus 24. That is the velocity. And once more if you differentiate, you will get acceleration, correct? So 60 minus 18. So in this respective equations for velocity and acceleration, substitute t is equal to 5 seconds, you will get the respective velocity and acceleration. As simple as that. Okay. Next problem. The acceleration of a particle is defined by a is equal to minus 2 meter per second square. Okay. When acceleration comes negative, that means it is the decreasing, correct? What is acceleration? Change in velocity with respect to time. So dv is equal to a into dt. dv is equal to a into dt. What is acceleration given as? Minus 2. Substitute here. Integrate both sides. So you do not know the limits here. So just integrate both sides. You will get v is equal to minus 2t plus c. So you will get the constant of integration because you don't know the limits over here. So first we are supposed to find out this constant of integration. How do we find out? We know that at x is equal to 0, okay, if v is equal to 8 meter per second and x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. So substitute here v is equal to 8 meter per second when t is equal to 0. You will get the constant as 8. Resubstitute this 8 in this equation. So you will get v is equal to minus 2t plus 8. So you got the equation for the in terms of velocity. If you differentiate, that is dx by dt is equal to v, correct? So I need to find out the x equation, correct? That is, determine the distance traveled they have given. Velocity I can find out from this, correct? That is, at t is equal to 6, I can find out what is the velocity. That is, v is equal to minus 2 into 6 plus 8, that you will get it as minus 4 meter per second. So, directly I can calculate the velocity. They have asked you to determine the velocity and the distance travelled at t is equal to 6 seconds. So, I got the equation for velocity. I substituted t is equal to 6, I will get the velocity. However, if I need to find out the distance travelled, I need the equation for the position, right? So, v is nothing but dx by dt. Dx is equal to v into dt. Substitute the v equation here, minus 2t plus 8 into dt. Integrate the equation, you will get differentiating the equation. It's already in differential form. So, integrating the equation, I will get x is equal to minus 2t squared divided by 2 plus 8t plus constant of integration. Now, let us find out what is the constant of integration. It's given in the problem, x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. When x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. Substitute that value, find out k. K also will, if this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, k is equal to 0. So, this term goes off. You will get an expression for x as minus t squared plus 8t. At t is equal to 6 seconds, I am supposed to find out what is the distance travelled. That is minus 36 plus 8 into 48, correct? So, x is equal to 84 you will get, okay? So, next problem, but this is I think we'll get a different answer over here for x, okay, please check it. Next problem, that is, a driver of car travelling at a speed of 72 kilometer per hour observes the light 300 meter ahead of him. This is from here to here, it is 300 meter, it is 300 meter over here, turning red. So, it turns red, a light over here. The traffic light is timed to remain for 20 seconds. So, what light has turned red here? It is timed to remain red for 20 seconds before it turns to green. If the motorist wishes to pass this light without stopping to wait for it to green, okay, so he is having a speed of 72 kilometer per hour. If he has to pass through this without stopping to wait for it to green, determine required uniform acceleration of the car, okay, that is A, speed with which the motorist crosses the traffic light. A you have to find out, and you are supposed to find out the speed, that is the velocity. So, uniform acceleration, we know that time out for that is timed for 20 seconds. So, t is equal to 20 seconds. First convert the 72 kilometer per hour into meter per second, that is the speed, velocity, 72 into 1000 divided by 3600, that is 60 into 60 per hour it is. So, you have converted it into seconds by dividing it by 60 into 60, that is 20 meter per second u. We know second from the second motion, equation of motion, that is s is equal to ut plus half at squared. Initial velocity is given as we converted it, right? Converted it to be 20 meter per second. So u is 20 meter per second. Time taken is 20 seconds. Substitute there. The distance up to that signal where it turns red is 300 meter is given. 300 meter ahead. Okay, so from this point to this point it is 300 meter. So substitute the distance, which is equal to this is done, plus half into acceleration into time square. Simplify and find out what is the acceleration. So we are getting it as negative 0.5 meter per second square. Okay, acceleration is found out. Next, you are supposed to find out the speed with which the motorist crosses the traffic light. We can go with the first equation of motion. V is equal to u plus at, where V is the final velocity we are supposed to find out. U is given as initial velocity given in the problem. It's moving with this speed. Conversion is 20 meter per second. Substitute that, minus 0.5 what we arrived acceleration into time 20. So you will get it velocity as 10 meter per second. Okay. Next problem. The motion of a particle along a straight line is defined by the relation s is equal to 1/3 t cube minus 36t. Find average acceleration during the 4th second. The acceleration when it reverses its direction. So first let us go for finding out the average acceleration during the 4th second. What is given? We have given with the distance relation, that is s is equal to 1/3 t cube minus 36t. If I differentiate with respect to t, I will get the velocity, that is ds by dt is velocity. So 3t squared divided by 3 gets cancelled. So it is t squared minus 36. I will get velocity equation as t squared minus 36. If I differentiate it with respect to t once more, I will get acceleration. So dv by dt is equal to 2t minus 36. 36 becomes 0 here. No t term here. So it is minus plus 2t is acceleration. So now I have got the acceleration formula, which is equal to 2t. So I can find out for which time interval I want, I can find out the acceleration. However, here the condition is average acceleration during the 4th second. So to find out the average acceleration, there is a formula, that is, to reach the 4th second, I need to find out the acceleration at the end of 3rd second and acceleration at the end of the 4th second. That gives me the, when I divide it by 2, it will give me the average of acceleration during the 4th second. So if I want to find out the average of, say, 5th second, that means 4th second plus 5th second divided by 2. That gives the average acceleration of the 5th second. Okay. Likewise, now here it is 4th second, so it is 3rd plus 4th divided by 2. So how do I find out the acceleration at the 3rd second? Substitute t is equal to 3. 3 into 2 6, acceleration is 6. For the 4th second, 4 into 2 8. 14 divided by 2, 7 meter per second squared is the average acceleration during the 4th second. Okay. The acceleration when it reverses its direction. Okay. When the particle which is moving along the straight line, when it reverses its direction, what happens to the velocity? Velocity will become equal to 0 at that particular point. So I take velocity equal to 0 when it reverses its direction. So if velocity is equal to 0, here it is 0, ds by dt is equal to 0. So my equation here will be t squared is equal to 36. So it is t squared is equal to 36. So t is equal to 6 seconds. Okay. Now I got t is equal to 6 seconds. They have not asked me for anything else. They have asked me acceleration when it reverses its direction. So I got t is 6 seconds. Substitute in the same equation and find out what is the acceleration. That is 12 meter per second square. That is the acceleration when the particle reverses its direction. Okay. So each problem is different over here. So you have to read what is given in the problem and try to understand how to go about it. So there is no particular formula. In the same way, this same problem what we did just now, you may have a different method to solve using the same equations of motion or the simple formulas. You may arrive at the answer. Okay. So basically something what you studied in physics. Now this problem. A motorist starts with initial velocity, some initial velocity, takes 10 seconds to cover a distance of 20 meter. He takes 10 seconds to cover a distance of 20 meter and 15 seconds to cover a distance of 40 meter. So if I take this as reference point, from here 40 meter distance he covers in 15 seconds. Okay. Find uniform acceleration of the car and velocity at the end of 15 seconds. Okay. So what is missing out in the given problem? They have given you two conditions, two cases which is so similar. In one T1 S1 is given, second T2 S2 is given, but missing terms are U and A. So you can take the second equation of motion, S is equal to ut plus half at square. Take the two conditions where distance 20 is travelled in 10 seconds. Substitute 10 here, becomes 10 squared becomes 100 here. 10u plus half a acceleration into 100 becomes 20 is equal to 10u plus 50a, first equation. Similarly, second equation, S2 is equal to u t2 plus half a t2 square. T2 is 15 here. Distance travelled is 40. So you reduce the equation to 40 is equal to 15u plus 112.5a. Solve the both the equations, this one and this equation, simultaneous equations for two unknowns, and get the acceleration and velocity. Okay. So you found out acceleration and velocity, but there is one more thing pending, that is they have asked you the velocity at the end of 15 seconds. So what you found out now is the initial velocity and the acceleration, uniform acceleration of the car. What you're supposed to find out is velocity at the end of 15 seconds. So what you found out is initial velocity and the uniform acceleration using at the end of 15 seconds find out the final velocity, that is 4.669 meter per second. Okay. Next, a body is moving with the uniform acceleration and covers 15 meter in 5th second and 25 meter in 10th second. Determine initial velocity of the body, acceleration of the body. Okay. In this I have to take care of the equations not hiding here. However, I'll explain it. Please try to understand. Body is moving with uniform acceleration. It has covered 15 meter in 5th second. In the previous problem you saw 4th second acceleration you have to find out, correct? See, whenever a body is starting from this point, this is the distance covered in first second. This is the distance covered in the, from here to here is the distance covered in the second. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. This is the distance covered in 3 seconds. Okay. So, if I have to write it in terms of the equations of motion, I will write for 1 second S1 is equal to ut1 plus half at1 square. For 2 seconds S2 is equal to ut2 plus half at2 square. Okay. Likewise, for S3 is equal to ut3 plus half at3 square. Okay. That is distance is this distance, separately this distance and this distance. So, likewise you can go on writing S3, S4, S5. So, they are talking about the 5th second. I told you when we have to find out for the 5th second, no, you have to find out what is the acceleration or what is the distance for the previous second up to the 4th second, in this case up to the 9th second, and then using that 9th second you can find out the what is the distance travelled in the 3rd second if somebody is asking you. Then S3 minus distance travelled by at the 3rd second minus distance travelled by the 2nd second will give you the what is the distance travelled in the 3rd second. Likewise, if for 2nd second is asked, for first you find out S2 minus S1. So, this is tedious. So, in order to avoid these many calculations, we have to arrive at a single formula so that you don't need to derive again and again. You just need to remember this formula. How they have derived this formula, I am just telling you. That is, you can simply use this Sn, which they have asked, at which second they have asked or which minute they have asked. That particular thing is n, which is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. How to derive this formula is, for Snth second I need, it will be Sn minus Sn minus 1. So, in the equation, second equation of motion, substitute Sn is equal to u into n plus half a n square. Sn minus 1 equation, here it is u into n minus 1 plus half a into n minus 1 whole square. And when you expand it, whole square, then you expand, it becomes n square plus 1 minus 2n. Here it is un plus half an square minus un plus u minus half a into, this is n minus 1 whole square. Okay. So, go on reducing the terms, which cancels out, please cancel. This term will cancel, this term will cancel. Finally, you remain with u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. You get this equation now. This is important for you. So, you remember this expression. I just told you how to arrive at this expression. So, take this expression, substitute for 5th second and 10th second and arrive at two more expressions so that you can find out the initial velocity and the uniform acceleration. Okay. So, directly take this formula. Take this formula, take the given data. A body is moving with uniform acceleration, covers 15 meter in 5th second. 15 meter in 5th second. Okay. So, n is 5 over here. 5th second, no? So, n substituted as 5 and you will get the equation as reducing 15 is equal to u plus 4.5. This is 10 minus 1, 9. 9 divided by 2, 4.58. Similarly, this distance covered in the 10th second, you substitute here 10th second means S10 is equal to u is for the 10th second, you are supposed to find out plus a divided by 2 into 10 minus 1. 20 minus 1, 19 by 2, you will get it as 9.58. u plus 9.5a, which is equal to 25. So, solving the simultaneous equations, you will get a is equal to 2 meter per second square plus u is equal to 1.67 meter per second. Okay, you have solved for it. Next problem. A car is moving with the velocity of 15 meter per second. Okay. The car is brought to rest by applying brakes in 5 seconds. Determine retardation, distance travelled by the car applying the brakes. Okay. So, car is moving with the velocity 15 meter per second, means u, initial velocity is 15 meter per second. Car is brought to rest by applying brakes in 5 seconds. 5 seconds becomes the time here, time given. So, find out the acceleration. When do you apply v is equal to 0? What is v here? V is final velocity. So, when the car is brought to rest, it means that the final velocity is 0. They have given us the initial velocity. Final velocity we have to assume, because the car is brought to rest, velocity final is 0. Then the only unknown in the equation is a. Find out a. You get it as minus 3 meter per second square. As I already told, acceleration getting negative here means the object is slowing down, right? So, you have found out the, or it is called as the retardation. Next one is distance travelled by the car applying the brakes. Distance travelled by the car applying the brake. So, after applying the brake, the car is brought to rest by applying the brakes in how many seconds? 5 seconds. So, t is 5 over here, and the acceleration when it is coming to a rest is what we have found out? minus 3. What is the initial velocity? 15. So, using the second motion of equation of motion, s is equal to ut plus half at square, you get the distance covered after applying the brakes is 37.5 meter. Okay. Next problem. The acceleration of a particle is defined by the relation a is equal to 32 minus 6t squared. So, here they have already given you the acceleration of a particle equation, which is a is equal to 32 minus 6t squared. The particle starts moving, okay, at time is equal to 0 with the velocity initial is equal to 0, and it has started from where? At already x is equal to 50 meter. Okay, so taking x is equal to 50 meter. Determine time when the velocity is again 0. So, you are supposed to find out that time when velocity is again 0. Okay. Then you are supposed to find out the position and the velocity at t is equal to 6. The last thing you have to find out is total distance travelled by the particle from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 6 seconds. So, 3 things have been asked, and what is given to us? Given to us is the relation for the acceleration of the particle. From this we have to arrive at the velocity equation, position equation, everything, and then we have to systematically solve using the conditions given. So, let us start with a is equal to 32 minus 6t square, which is nothing but change in velocity with respect to time. So, it is dv by dt is given equation 32 minus 6t square. dv let it be on the left hand side, take dt into right hand side, integrate this equation, you will get v. correct? We want the velocity equation. So V you will get is equal to 32t minus 6t cube by 3 plus constant of integration. No limits here, right? So constant of integration you get. Now I have to find out what is this constant of integration. We know that the conditions given are V is equal to 0, T is equal to 0. So T is equal to 0 here. Then V is equal to 0. So what is C? C you got it as 0. So resubstituting in this equation, we got the final velocity equation as 32t minus 2t cube. So this is our velocity equation, correct? So time when velocity is again 0 they have asked. So from this velocity is equal to 0, can you find out the time? Yes, you can find out. So find out what is the time. Time you get it as, how is it found out? Yeah, here. Velocity is equal to 0. Find out the time. T is equal to 5.65 seconds. Correct? So this is what we found out from the equation got here. That is time when velocity is again 0. I put V is equal to 0 here. I found out what is the time. Okay. Next we'll move on to position and the velocity when T is equal to 6 seconds. Okay. From this velocity equation, I can arrive at the position equation. V is equal to dx by dt. V is equal to dx by dt. Correct? So x is equal, dx is equal to, dx by dt is equal to V. Dx is equal to V into dt. Substitute the V velocity equation here. Integrate the equation. You will get this as x. 32t squared by 2 minus 2t to the power 4 divided by 4 plus k. So just simplify this and see whether you are getting the same equations. Simplify this, and further we know what is the condition given. T is equal to, at t is equal to 0, x is equal to 50. Substitute in this equation. You will get x as 50, t as 0. So k you will get it as 50. Resubstitute in this equation, k is as 50. So you will get the position equation or the distance equation, x is equal to 32t square. Just check with this calculations please. 32t square minus 0.5 t to the power 4 plus 50. Okay. After you got this equation, I need to find out two things. One is, last two things remaining is, three things are remaining. Position and velocity when t is equal to 6. So when t is equal to 6, find out what is the velocity, substituting t as 6, and here substitute t as 6 and find out what is the x. So here you will get it as 32 into 6 square minus 0.5 into 6 to the power 4 plus 50. So you got x is equal to 554 meter. V also substitute t is equal to 6, you will get 240 meter per second. Okay. So what was important is the position and the velocity at t is equal to 6 you are supposed to find out. So for which first you find out the position equation and then substitute. Velocity equation you found out and then substitute. Here we have substituted velocity itself 0 and found out the time. That was the first question. Second question was this. Third question is total distance travelled by the particle from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 6. So what you are supposed to do is, first you have to substitute t is equal to 0 in our x equation. In our x equation, t is equal to 0, you will get it as 50, which is also given. in the problem. And when t is equal to 6, you found out what x6 is 554 meter. Now they've asked you what is the total distance travelled by the particle from this point to this point. Means when t is equal to 0 to t is equal to 6. So difference of these two will give you the answer for that. Okay. So that is solved. This is also a very important problem, comes in most of the university papers. That is, a burglar's car starts with an acceleration of 2 meter per second square. A police vigilant party came after 5 seconds and continued to chase the burglar's car with a uniform velocity of 20 meter per second. Find the time taken in which the police van will overtake the car. First, you need to understand the problem. Read twice or thrice to understand velocity of which car is given, acceleration of which vehicle is given, and what is asked in the problem. Please try to understand, because same problem will not appear in the university exam. Similar problems will appear. So once you understand the concept, maybe you will be able to solve any type of problem. Okay. First, write down what is given in case of burglar car. You assume that t is the time taken by the burglar's car before caught by police. Okay. T is the time for the burglar's car, you think, to reach particular point before the police catches. In case of burglar's car, what is the initial velocity? Initial velocity, it is starting from, they have not given, so you take 0, u is equal to 0, initial velocity is equal to 0, acceleration as given as 2 meter per second square. So here you took it as 2 meter per second square. Using the second equation of motion, this becomes 0 plus half into 2 into t square, so which reduces to t square. So distance covered in t seconds gives you t square. Name it as first equation. In the case of police vigilant party, okay, the distance covered in time will be, it came 5 seconds afterwards, right? So if t is the time for burglar's car, for police car you take it as t minus 5 seconds. Okay. And its uniform velocity is given as 20 meter per second. Uniform velocity of the police car is given as 20 meter per second. Okay. I'll take the distance is equal to velocity into time formula, second one. So you'll get it as velocity into time. Velocity is 20 given, t minus 5 time for the police car. So it is 20 into t minus 5. Second equation. Now if from one point to another point, if the burglar's car has travelled, that means the same distance the police has to travel, right? So the distance remains same. So S in the case of the first equation, S in the case of second equation, that is for the burglar's car and the police car, S will be same. So I can equate the equation 1 and 2, correct? So if the police van overtakes the burglar's car, then t squared is equal to 20 into t minus 5. So you'll get a quadratic equation. Solving this, you'll get t is equal to 10 seconds. But what is this 10 seconds? It is the time taken by the burglar's car before caught by the police. So that is what we found out. Then what is the time in which the police van will overtake the car? That is t minus 5. 10 minus 5 seconds. So which gives you the time find the time taken in which the police van will overtake the car in 5 seconds. Okay. So those were a set of problems for the rectilinear motion. Under gravity, now there are some problems in which the body which will be in control of gravity or the influence of gravity has to be taken into consideration. So when the motion of the body is influenced by the gravity, that is a body is moving vertically downwards, the value of g is considered as positive. Yeah. And when it is moving against gravity, then we are considering it as negative. So accordingly, when a body is projected vertically downwards under the action of gravity, equations of motions can be written as, first equation, v is equal to u plus at, it was, I write it as gt. V squared is equal to u squared plus 2gh or 2as it was. So g I will write in the place of a. So here it is s is equal to ut plus half gt squared, where a is replaced by g. Similarly, when the body is projected vertically upwards, you can write negative g. Okay. So here are some of the problems where we are considering the body moving vertically upwards or downwards, in which the first problem we are taking, that is the ball thrown vertically upward in the air with an initial velocity of 35 meter per second. After 3 seconds another ball is thrown vertically. What initial velocity must the second ball have to pass the first ball at 30 meter from the ground? So please understand that a ball is thrown from this point. A ball from down, it is vertically thrown upward in the air with the initial velocity of 35 meter per second. After the first ball is thrown, after 3 seconds, okay, after 3 seconds, another ball is thrown vertically up. They are asking the velocity, initial velocity of the second ball, so as to pass the first ball at 30 meter from the ground. So this height is fixed, or the distance travelled by the balls is fixed, that is the 30 meter. There are two cases given here, of one which initial velocity is given and they have also given you the height. Okay, so you are supposed to find out the second ball's initial velocity whose height is also fixed. So with the given data of the first case, you are supposed to arrive for the velocity of the second ball case. So first take the second equation of motion and try to arrive, try to reduce the unknowns. Okay, because for you the unknowns are t is unknown in the first case, whereas in the second case h is known, t is unknown, u is unknown. So 3 unknowns are there, correct? So 2 cases, 3 unknowns are there. First we have to reduce one unknown term so that we can solve easily. So like you have to take h is equal to ut minus half gt squared. Anything which is moving up against the gravitational force, so g is negative, take it like this. U1 is given as 35, total distance is given as 30. 30 is equal to 35 t minus half into 9.81 g value t square. So you will arrive at a quadratic equation. Solving this, you will get t as 6.138 and 0.9965 5 seconds, less than a minute. So I will be taking the value for t as 6.138 seconds. Okay, because the first if you look it sensibly, that is after 3 seconds of throwing the first ball, the second ball is thrown. So you can take t as 6.138. So whereas the time for the second ball is t2 is equal to first minus 3 seconds. So t2 will be 3.138. Okay. So you got t2. Substituting the value of h is equal to 30, u2 is the unknown, t2 you found out 3.138 seconds. Substituting in the equation, you need to find out what is the velocity of the second ball. So u2 is found out here as 24.91 meter per second. Reducing the equation, you will get it as 24.91 second. That is what is asked. What is the initial velocity of the second ball such that the height is fixed, that is 30 meters. Okay. Next problem. A stone is dropped into a well and a sound of splash is heard after 4 seconds. Find the depth of the well if the velocity of sound is 350 meter per second. Velocity of sound is 350 meter per second. Let us assume that h be the depth of the well, which we are supposed to find out. Okay. They have given you the sound of splash is heard after 4 seconds. That is, in this 4 seconds, there is time taken for the stone to be dropped into the well and the splash sound to be travelled back to you. So t1 plus t2 is equal to the total 4 seconds, that is time taken by the stone to reach the bottom of the well, time taken by the sound to reach the top of the well. So t1 plus t2 is equal to 4 seconds. We are supposed to find out the depth h. Consider the second equation of motion, h is equal to ut plus half gt square. Here the stone is dropped into the well, so it is moving downwards towards, so no taking g as negative. Okay, so it is positive over here. Initial velocity of the stone is 0, and consider in the first case, there are two cases here we will be considering, that is, first one is consider the motion of the stone considering the motion of the sound, second case. So in the first case, h is equal to ut, u is 0 plus half into 9.81 into t is equal to t1 square. So h is equal to 4.901 t1 square. So I have reduced the equation in terms of h is equal to in terms of t1. Okay. Now second case, consider the motion of the sound. Let v be the velocity of the sound and t2 be the time. T2 be the time taken by the sound to reach the top of the well. Okay. So for the second case, I will take velocity is nothing but distance travelled by time. Distance is the depth of the well. I have already converted this h in terms, since the depth of the well is common in both the cases. It's common in both the cases. We can reduce the equation in terms of h, that is velocity is nothing but distance traveled by time. Time here is the t2 for the second case. So t2 I will bring it on the left hand side, v2 below, because I know what is v2, velocity of the sound is given 350 meter per second. H I have already converted in terms of t1, that is 4.905 t1 square divided by 350 velocity. So I got t2 is equal to 0.014 t1 square. My main equation is t1 plus t2 is equal to 4 seconds. I will substitute t2 in terms of t1. So here t1 plus t2 is equal to 4 seconds. I will substitute in terms of t1 here. So I will get a quadratic equation. And simply solving this equation, I will get what is t. So t is 3.798 seconds. So substituting in our H equation the value of t1, I will get what is the depth of the well. So thus it is solved here. We found out what is the depth of the well. Next problem. A stone is dropped from the top of the tower 50 meter height. The height of the tower is given, that is top of the tower 50 meter means the height of the tower is 50 meter. At the same time, one stone is dropped from this top of the tower. At the same time, another stone is thrown from the foot of the tower with the velocity 25 meter per second. That is, the velocity of the stone which is thrown from the foot is given as 25 meter per second. At what distance from the top of the tower, from this top, at what distance and after how much time the two stones cross each other? So when a stone is thrown upwards, when a stone is thrown downwards, at some point of time there is some they cross against each other. That is, you might have worked out the problems of relative speed. A car is moving from one direction and from another direction another car moves. At what time do they cross over each other? Such problems you would have solved in physics, right? So similar concept here, they are asking at what distance from the top and after how much time the two stones cross each other. So condition for the two stones to cross each other is h1 plus h2 is equal to 50. Total distance is 50, right? So h1 plus h2 is equal to 50. Consider the first stone, that is h is equal to ut plus half gt square. So in the first case we have height h1, that is the height h1. When the stone is thrown from the top of the tower, height is h1 USU, distance traveled, and the velocity is not given in the first case. You are throwing from the top of the tower, right? So initial velocity is considered as 0 and time you do not know. So g is 9.81. You need to find out h1 and t, correct? So let the equation be h1 is equal to 4.905 t square. Consider the second case. In the second case they have given you that at the same time, so time t is same here, another stone is thrown up from foot of the tower. From here it is thrown, so the distance travelled by the stone is given as h2 with the velocity, initial velocity is given as 25 meter per second. So distance velocity is 25 meter per second, h is h2, g is 9.81 meter per second square. So h is equal to h2 25 t minus half into 9.81 into t squared. So it is 25t minus 4.905 t squared. Now the first equation what we took, the assumption, that is h1 condition what we took is for two stones to cross each other is h1 plus h2 is equal to 50. That is h1 plus h2 is equal to 50, where you can substitute the value of h1 and h2, which is both in terms of t. Okay. So substituting h1 and h2 in the first equation, you get the value of t, this plus this, these 4.905 t squared and here 4.90 t squared gets cancelled because this is positive negative. So only 25t is equal to 50. Only 25t on the left hand side, 50 on the right hand side will remain. So t, you find it out as 2 seconds you will get. So you will get t as 2 seconds. Substitute in any one of the equation h1. If you want to find out h1, you have to substitute in h1. If you want to find out the height from the thrown upwards, if that height is required, then h2 you have to find. But what is asked in the question, it is asked that is at what distance from the top of the tower, when you throw it, at what distance, that is h1. So substitute in the h1 equation and you will get the distance from where at what distance do they cross over each other, you will get. Next problem, that is a stone is thrown vertically upwards from the top of the tower 20 meter with a velocity of 15 meter per second. Find the highest elevation reached by the stone, the time required for the stone to cross the top of the tower during its downward motion, and the corresponding velocity. So a stone is thrown vertically upwards from the top of the tower 20 meter high with a velocity of 15 meter per second. So we have dv by dt is equal to acceleration of gravity, that is a is equal to minus 9.81 meter per second square. A stone is thrown vertically upwards, right, from the top of the tower. As it is, the tower height is given as 20 meter. So from here a stone is thrown upwards with the velocity 15 meter per second. Okay, initial velocity from here is given as 15 meter per second. Find the highest elevation reached by the stone. We know that acceleration is dv by dt, which is equal to minus 9.81 meter per second square. So dv is equal to 9.81 into dt. Integrating this equation, you will get the velocity. That is how you have to integrate from velocity with respect to 15 to up to the velocity v, that is initial velocity is 15 meter per second, to the final velocity 0 to time t. So integrating this, you get v, limits 15 to v minus 15 is equal to minus 9.81 into t. So you will get the equation v is equal to minus 9.81 t plus 15. Differentiating this equation, not differentiating, that is as it is, v is equal to dy by dt. So to get the position, dy is equal to minus 9.81 t plus 15 into dt. Integrating this equation with I need in terms of y, because y is the depth here, right? So the depth here is 0 to y, correct? So my integration limits will be, I have thrown the stone from the top of the tower. Top of the tower, what is the height? Top of the tower, the height is 20 to 0, correct? So it is 20 to 0 is the limit for y, and 0 to t, integrating this, minus 9.81 t squared by 2 plus 15 t. Okay, so y is equal to 15 t minus 4.9 t squared plus 20. When the stone reaches the highest elevation, what happens to the velocity when the stone reaches the, from here if you throw a stone, when it reaches here, the velocity will become equal to 0, correct? So I substitute v is equal to 0 in the equation of v, okay, in the equation of v. Here you have the limit, so no need of applying the constant here, integration constant. So if v is equal to 0, I get t as 1.53 seconds, and using that t I can find out what is the y distance. So y is equal to 31.5 meter from the ground. Okay. Now the third question asked here is, what is the time required for the stone to cross the top of the tower? When the stone crosses the top of the tower, when it is thrown from that distance y. Okay, so from the, at y is equal to 20, what is the time? That is, substitute in this equation, y is equal to 20, find out what is the time. 3.036 you will get. That is, we found out the highest elevation reached by the stone, that is when velocity is equal to 0, it is the highest point, and that y we found out, and the time required for the stone to cross the top of the tower during its downward motion, and the corresponding velocity, that also we found out. That is here we found out y, and at the top of the tower we found out what is that time. So y is equal to 20 when we substituted, what is that time also we found out. Here another problem. A stone is thrown vertically in the air from the top of the tower 100 meter. At the same instant, a second stone is thrown upward from the ground. So one stone is thrown from the top of the tower, another stone is thrown from the ground. The initial velocity of the first stone is 50 meter per second. Initial velocity of the first stone is here 50 meter per second, and that of the second stone is 75 meter per second. When and where will the stones be at the same height? So this is the limit. When and where the stones will be at the same height from the ground. So u1 is given as, for the first case, 50 meter per second. G is minus 9.81 because it is thrown up, and in both the cases G is minus 9.81. Using the second motion of equation, you get 50 t minus, that is the initial velocity, minus 4. G is negative, so 9.81 divided by 2 minus 4.905 t squared. S1 is equal to so much. S2 is equal to, second velocity is 75. So you will get S1, S2 equations in terms of t you will get. Okay. Then subtracting the second equation with the first equation, S2 minus S1. S2 minus S1 is equal to, just this minus this, you will get 25t. But S2 minus S1 is how much? Height of the building, 100. So t is equal to 4 seconds you will get. Substituting the value of time in each of the equation, you will get the S1 and S2 respective. Okay. So we were supposed to find out when and where will the stones be at the same height from the ground. So that we have found out, the respective S1 and S2, by substituting the respective velocities and considering the time same here. So for that same time t, we have found out at what distance it will be at the same height. And that's all for now in this video. Thank you very much.